The Lord has done it. Finally, finally, finally.
Hello guys and welcome back to Testimony Channel. My name is Ajifolake once again and I've got a lovely guest.
My name is Abayomi.
Yeah, so quickly I'll just ask you about your testimony. Have you been trying to go to travel out of Nigeria before now and how has it been for you?
Well, if I could remember vividly, I think I've tried traveling about 3 times. And
So what changed this time around?
well, I think what changes, like the Bible says, time and chance happen to them all. I think
Right.
it's just probably I've tried the wrong time, but I think when it was the right time, things happen. So that's what has changed this time around.
Okay, so what's your testimony all about? Like, was it a smooth ride for you or what happened and how did God come through for you?
Well, to be very honest with you, wasn't a smooth ride. Like
Right.
was the longest waiting time of my life, to be honest with you. Like I this journey taught me how to really, really trust God.
Okay.
And if I mean how to really, really trust God, like out of nothing, how to trust God.
All right.
I could remember when the whole journey started. After traveling, I attempted traveling about 3 times and all failed. I've tried US, tried Singapore, tried all of that. I think
Right.
that I tried I think Germany at the time too. And after all failed, I just in the process I got married, got a lovely daughter, and I just told myself I'm never gonna try traveling again until I'm really, really, really comfortable, like
Right.
really comfortable.
Right.
Then I told my wife, traveling for now, a lot of people have been jackpying, so to say, but that for the us, no, I'm never gonna try because I've tried it 3 times, except God asked me to really take the step.
Right.
And what changed was just the fact that I don't know, my own mother just came visiting my family, and you know, we were just praying together with my wife, and the word just came out that we should take a step about traveling. And I
Right.
was like, take a step. And I think the prayer was around either March year 2022 that we should take a step about traveling. Then
Right.
I inquired of God more like how do we take a step, like what I'm worth. So what came to my mind was okay, UK, there this study routes and all of that. Lots of people are doing it. Okay. And okay, I just told my wife, okay, what's the plan? We made a few inquiries, and
Okay.
we were told basically that we got the information we needed. Then
Right.
we decided to try. So I said, okay, my wife should really be the student. You get what I mean?
Okay.
So I could have time to work. So we decided to pull that over, and in the process of everything, we applied into about 6 or 7 schools, and
Okay.
and we're constantly praying about it. And I told my wife, let's just pray that only where God wants us to go, that's where they should respond. And
Okay.
luckily for us, only one school responded.
Wow.
They gave her the conditional offer,
Right.
and at the time of the conditional offer, I think we were meant to pay about was it £4,000
Wow.
for this deposit, yeah, for school deposit, £4,000.
Right.
And at the time we got the admission, I could remember on the day she got the conditional offer, I practically had 36,000 naira in my bank account.
It's so played.
To be very honest with you, I had just 36,000 naira in my bank account.
Wow.
And I think that's basically more of the fact that, there was a project I was doing then. So everything I get goes into the project.
Okay.
So after getting 36,000 naira, and I think, the conditional offer came in late sometime, yeah, and we're given about a month plus to get the £4,000 and pay
Wow.
for us to get the unconditional offer.
So how did you go about it?
My sister.
My brother.
I prayed to God, like, how do I do it? I told my mom about it, my wife too, and we decided to, okay, let's just fingers crossed. I told a couple of people if they could borrow me, but all to no avail, to be honest with you,
Okay.
until myself and my wife, after all the stuff, we myself and my wife were able to raise about a 1 million naira. I think £4,000 then was about 4 million naira. Yeah,
Okay.
it was about 4 million naira then.
So you had three
So
million naira to go.
so we had 3 million naira to go. And I could remember about 2 weeks left for the stuff to close, for the admission, for us to lose the offer. And my mom called me. I was like, Yomi, how far have you gone about the money? And I was like, we haven't gone anywhere. We only have 1 million naira, myself and my wife. She was like, Yomi, are you sure? I said, yes. My mom was okay. My mom went to a school. She's a teacher in a federal school in Nigeria. So she went to a school, met some people in a what's it called, in the cooperative. She's doing a cooperative, and she told them she needed 4 million naira, and they were like, ah, madam, you cannot collect 4 million naira. You are on a loan, and also with your salary and every calculation, you can't even collect 1 million naira. And immediately my mom just busted into tears and was crying. And they were like, oh, okay, don't worry, we'll have an emergency meeting. And all of a sudden, they just had an emergency meeting and they just said, okay, what we can do. And before that time, myself and my wife, we have a property in not developed areas, so called in Abeokuta. So we just decided, okay, we want to sell that. We put that for sale. My mom was in charge and we didn't find the buyer. And so my mom was just like, okay, my son have this, we can drop this for like
Collateral.
as a collateral. And they said, okay, even if you are dropping it, the location, we can only give you 2 million naira. You understand? Well, then after their meeting, just to cut it short, they gave her 2 million and she sent the 2 million to me. And I could remember the day we wanted to make the payment for this stuff. We got 3 million naira at the time. Then I was on call with her. We needed 1 million naira to go, and my mom just said, "Do you believe that dollar value can drop and you make your payment and all of that?" I said, "I believe." And lo and behold, the second day,
Wow.
dollar was about 905 at that time. The second day, my wife got dollar for 670 in the bank.
Wow.
And after getting the dollar worth of 30 million naira, we were only left with 250,000, which I just borrowed from my. I think my in-law sent that to me. I meant not meant to say that, but I'll say that my in-law just sent the 250, and that was how. So just fast forward to where we wanted to make the payment. My wife got a dollar card, and we've done it. All the money is in our account, so just for us to log in, the dollar card was declining, wouldn't go.
Wow.
So we contacted someone in the bank. They said we needed a Visa Gold card. We don't have a Visa Gold card. Then I had a friend who got a Visa Gold card, who even works with one of the big banks in Nigeria and works at the headquarters. So we sent the money to him, and he even checked and told us when the money will be available for the payment.
Okay.
And as at the time the money was available, he tried, the card was declined again. Okay,
Wow.
send us back the money so that we look for an alternative means.
Okay.
We were told that he can't send the money until after 3 or 5 business working day, because Visa Gold is just like an electronic means. It's not like a bank account
Normal
thing.
bank. Okay.
And we only have 2 days for the payment to close as a day.
2 days.
2 days, yeah. And the whole thing scattered. Like, in fact, I couldn't sleep at the night. My wife couldn't sleep. My wife was even crying that we even got the money to now pay became a problem. But fast forward to, I just went to work. I don't know how I got to work the morning. I got the number of a banker who gave me someone's contact that could help make the payment. But the person has to collect his money instantly while making the payment. I called the person, and the person told me he cannot do that. That's a lot of money. He can't do it with him expecting to get back his money after 5 business working days.
Mm.
I begged the person, went to the bank to meet with the person. At the long run, the person asked me to go and bring my what's it called? My passport.
Okay.
Yeah, with that of my wife, with the collateral of a project I was doing, like the building is like a building. So
Okay.
I brought the paper, I brought everything. We had an agreement, wrote the agreement. I didn't leave bank since morning. I didn't leave bank till almost 7 p.m. that night.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So at the long run, just when it's going to expire, the day it was going to expire, the person made the payment. And that was a lot of fees. After making the payment, visa and IHS stuff, okay, how do we do all of these things? My wife just told me, babe, at this point, we've made a huge commitment. We cannot go back. Why not let's sell the property we have? Why not let's sell it? And in the process of it, we're trying to sell, you know, we we're looking for buyer. I already thought, I was looking up to someone that the person was going to be able to get the stuff for me until I
Okay.
realized the person was even at the time was in the midst of owing some people and the person wasn't financially buoyant at the
Buoyant.
time. You
Okay.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, so all of a sudden I just went back to God. I just prayed. And God just told me, go to your office, go and meet your boss. That my boss is my boss at the same time, my spiritual father. When you have a boss like that, is my boss, my spiritual father. He groomed me from while I was young, and even the person was so close to me that it's
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of relationships. So I just went to meet him and I was like, "Oh, Yomi, I cannot do this, I cannot do that." And I was like, "I don't want this thing to go out. To be honest with you, I want it to be inside." And the person agreed. It was like, "Okay, how much have you spent on the stuff?" I said, "Okay, I spent so amount." And do you know the person had added one extra, like added 1 million for how much
Wow.
I've spent and said, okay, I'll give you so amount. And the person just gave me. Out of the what the person gave me, I was able to pay for IHS for myself, my wife, and my daughter. Then after that, we were left with about around 500,000 or so. Then
Okay.
I just told my wife that day we just the school, I'm not sure the school had sent cars. The school hasn't sent cars then.
Okay.
Yeah, so but that day we just December 6th stroke 7, I think, myself and my wife, we had a vigil, and I just was just like, babe, we've been taking the step of faith all this while and God has been showing up.
Hmm.
Let's just take a step of faith. Let's book our flight. And we just said, okay, the school was going to resume.
Did you book the flight before applying for the visa, like before the biometrics and all?
Before biometrics, before the visa, that was when we booked the flight. Like
That's
we
huge.
haven't even applied, we haven't done the only thing I think we've done that time was the what was it called? That you go do the
TB
TB
test.
test.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
was the only thing. So we just said, okay, this 500,000 left. Let's just use it to lock down a plane price. And school was meant to resume January 14, and I told my wife, let's schedule our movement for either that January 15, yeah, just a day, and we just booked the flight by faith. No, we booked the flight for that same January 14th. Yeah.
Okay.
And do you know, all of a sudden we applied for visa due to the festivities, our visa didn't come out
Hmm.
until our visa came out, I think January, the 12th of January or so. And we picked our visa on the 12th of January.
Okay.
I think, okay, we got the news on 11th, which was my birthday, 11th of January, that our visa is out now, ready for pickup. And we went to pick it. In fact, that 11th was the day I resigned where I was working.
Wow.
I just took that step, and probably because there was a delay and my wife already sent them a mail and they said they've taken a decision. And I don't know, they don't tell you what decision, but I think my wife was just lucky. They told her it's been it's been approved,
Okay. Positive.
but positive. So I just used that information to give them about 2 or 3 working days in my place of work. I just resigned with immediate effect, got my visa on the 12th of January. Then we traveled on the 14th of January. Everything was really, in fact, to the extent that we had to, every of our properties, just trying to arrange everything, clear our bag. We did everything over the night of our traveling.
Wow.
And that was how God just showed up. Lo and behold, we got to Heathrow. When we got to Heathrow, to connect to a bus where we're going to be staying, the city where we'll be staying, we didn't have a plan. We don't know that the bus was meant to take off at Heathrow. Everything was just scattered. Someone that we don't know before in the plane that was even fighting them at Muritala Mohammed Airport that is not going to pay for extra luggage because it was just a little XX kg. The same person said, "Ah, are you going to do it?" I said, "We said we don't know," to take us to Victoria Station. The
Okay.
person paid £136 for us to get a Benz space van to take us from Itro
Mm.
to that place. And when we are coming, I already had plans that my wife had a friend there, which I also know the person. Okay, my wife was going to stay there. I already had a plan to also stay with one of my friend who promised, but all of a sudden the person just told me that um I'm only restricted to like probably 5 days. I can only stay for 5 days and all of that. And I was contemplating that, God, how are we going to do it where we don't know?
Let me
We don't even
stay.
have money. In fact, the 1 million naira that I took for accommodation was a loan. Someone stood for me where I was working to get a loan. I was like, how are we going to do it? But all of a sudden, we were in the bus coming to where we'll be staying. And the person who my wife was going to be staying with just said, "Don't worry, Falake, you can just be coming with your husband and your daughter. I've spoken with my husband." And that was how God did it. And I stayed in that house with my wife for 1 month, 17 days.
Wow.
They didn't collect a dime from me. They were feeding myself and my family. The only thing was just that we brought out some of few things we brought together, and that was the only thing they throughout 1 month and 17 days before, and I didn't even, but God just showed up in a miraculous way. So I think, not to waste your time, that's just the summary of the whole
It can
story.
only be good.
Yeah,
It
it's
can
a
only
whole
be
lot of
good.
tension, to be honest with you, because it taught me to really trust God with
Totally.
totally with everything. So that's the summary of the journey.
Thank you.
All right,
And
thank
it's
you so
nice
much.
having you
Yeah,
here.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
See you in the next video. Bye.